Hey everybody, Kyan here. I just thought I'd give you a quick update as to what happened yesterday and what's going on today here. There was no show today for a whole host of reasons, and I'm hoping to get a brand new show up tomorrow, but tomorrow's going to be very busy for a whole host of reasons, mostly involving lots of people coming in and out of the house to do repair on stuff because we have an air conditioner unit that has never worked correctly when we got our free air conditioner units hooked in, and then they have to come and fix it. And then we have inspectors, and my wife is dealing with her sister who is mentally ill, and blah, 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 blah. Anyway. All that aside, I'll do my darndest to have a ding-dang-darndest to have a brand new show for you tomorrow. And I thought I'd tell you about what happened yesterday because it is kind of amusing, and it would be faster for me to just tell you this than to try and type it all into Twitter or Facebook or anything. So I figured, what the heck, I'll just do a quick show so you get something. I hope it's not too boring for you. Anyway, great show yesterday that I did. I mean, at least in terms of the production, it went very smoothly. I sat down, I had an idea, I did it, I got to use some jokes that I had set aside for a while. I did that whole Explodo Durante episode yesterday, recorded it really well. As I finished up, I noticed, I came out of the booth to get to the editing phase, or the post-production phase, and I noticed that it was black as pitch outside. And I'm sitting there going, oh, hey, are those thunderstorms rolling in? And just as I was thinking that, there was a flash of lightning, and I actually heard a pop come through the wires of my headphone and into my ears before a loud boom hit. And I immediately thought, that's bad, since I'm working with electrical equipment, and there's evidently some very bad storms coming our way. And I went to try and move some files from one computer to another computer when I realized that our internet was down. And that's because my wife had unplugged everything. Because it was like, holy shit, there's a really, really, really nasty storm coming this way with a lot of dangerous lightning. We should shut everything down right now. So I agreed. I saved the files. I shut everything down. And then the storm didn't actually hit. It kind of curved around Minneapolis and then went into Wisconsin where it was causing flash floods. But the brunt of it, with hail and damaging winds and lots and lots and lots and lots of lightning, actually kind of scooted around us. So we lucked out pretty well. So about an hour or so later, after everything was all clear and even the sun was starting to come back out, I ran back upstairs, fired up my computer, and then got back to work to quickly put the show up, which I did. And then I posted it on the podcast feed. And then I discovered, looking at it, that I hadn't recorded 8 minutes of material, but the podcast was 8 minutes long. In my zeal to get the thing saved, I had forgotten that I'd left a large space, thanks to a sound effect or a sound bed that I'd used, a large space of sort of unrecorded stuff, just blank area at the end of the show. Another 3 minutes of material. 3 minutes of just silence. So that was all wrong. So I ran upstairs again to my room. I deleted the episode from the podcast feed, and then I chopped the silence off, and then reread it out and remastered it or reread it out, made an MP3 out of it, and put it up again. Then I checked that and discovered that somewhere in that process, something had gone wrong in the mix, and one of the dialogue tracks had dropped really, really low, so you could hear it, but it wasn't in the same sound as everything else. So I ran back upstairs, and I deleted it again, and took it down again, and then all the while this is going on, I'm trying to post stuff on this and get it up, and it's just everything is going wrong. I would post it to Facebook. Facebook wasn't working. Twitter wouldn't take my some information that I put in. I would try to get links. My computer suddenly slowed way down after restarting it. This was a different computer that I have in the living room for surfing purposes. It's just a Mac Mini. It was just very, very bad. It was just everything was going terribly, terribly wrong. Anyway, I ran back upstairs, deleted the episode, went back in, redid the mix to fix it, and then posted it again. And then I checked it and discovered that only half the audio was playing. It would get to a certain point and then it would stop, and then it would get to a certain point and then it would stop again, and then it disappeared from the podcast feed completely, in spite of the fact, this is the iTunes feed, in spite of the fact that you could see it on the page from Libsyn, which is where I host all my podcasts. It just wasn't there. It wasn't showing up in iTunes at all. And people were calling me. They were calling me. They were texting me and sending me mail going, hey, where's the podcast? You said it's up. We're following the links. They're not going anywhere. And this is after I'd had to delete every link that I'd sent to Twitter and to Facebook multiple times. Like this 3 or 4 times of having to do this. And then they couldn't get the podcast. I had to direct them to direct download to that episode because it just wasn't loading. And I don't know what went wrong. I broke iTunes. Evidently, somehow I broke iTunes doing all of this. And I'm just like, this is the hardest I've ever worked to put up an episode. Even harder than when I first tried doing it way back in 2005 when Libsyn was just getting off the ground. I mean, and I had no idea what I was doing, and the interface was really clunky. There were a few episodes that were really hard to get up or didn't show up in the feed for a variety of reasons, but I've never had this. This was like 3 or 4 hours of just constantly taking it down and putting it up and fixing it and doing it. It was just, it was bedeviled. It was a cursed episode. It's a funny episode, I think. I like it very much, but it was a cursed episode on the back end. So anyway, I waited 24 hours thinking, well, you know what? It's probably just a problem with iTunes, and once iTunes rechecks the RSS feed, it'll fix itself. And it never fixed itself. And a couple of people mentioned it's not there. Where's the episode? That kind of thing. So as an experiment, I just read out the same episode again, changed the name of it, and then I posted it to the RSS feed. And that fixed it. Somehow. iTunes immediately then showed that episode, plus yesterday's episode in the podcast feed. I had unclogged whatever had gone wrong. Evidently, we've been lied to, and in fact, yes, the internet is a series of tubes, and those tubes can get clogged, and sometimes you have to get a plunger, and you have to poke at the file that's blocking up the tubes to get them to come loose. That's all I can think that's happening, because there's no other reason for this to happen. Anyway, the RSS feed is back online, everything seems to be working correctly, and you know what, I'm just going to move on from here. So I'm going to try and forget that, other than this horrible. I mean, horrible is a strong word, but this was the most ridiculous amount of time I've ever spent trying to post an episode since I've started creating this series. Just thought I'd let you know about all that. And anyway, I'll try to be back again tomorrow. If not, I will definitely be back on Thursday with a brand new show. And thanks so much for listening and being patient with me, because I don't seem very patient when these things are going on, I got to tell you. And I will talk to you tomorrow or Thursday. Thank you very much, and I'm Chris Conroy, and I'll see you later. Bye. Oh, and I'll answer your emails, you Tekdiff fans who did send me after my last show where I said, what are you looking for in a show? I did get a lot of nice letters and a lot of replies on Facebook. I just haven't gotten around to responding to them just because it's been a weird week. I took the week off that last week just to kind of get my head back together because it's been in kind of a weird depressive state, and it was nice to hear nice things from people and to hear what they thought of the show, and I will try to answer on all those mails as quickly as possible. So again, thank you. I'm done talking, and I'll see you very, very soon. Goodbye.